What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams. We're making money with Stephen A. Williams on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe right now. Please like this video if you feel that I deserve it after you watch it. In this video, we're going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk specifically about how AI has been utilized in my business, and that one of the things that I'm learning even more with AI is that we've all used AI in a certain sense before. It's just that now more people are being introduced to AI because they've actually made it where people would understand AI. And that means that you input something and you want to get an answer, but you understand what the AI is actually doing. Well, let me tell you, I've been using AI for years, and it wasn't the way that you kind of see it right now. But I could tell you that AI, for certain people with companies, it will disrupt and take away jobs from people. And I'm going to show it to you here with AI. And I don't want anyone to get offended if you work for somebody. I'm just telling you what it is and how it's working so you can be aware. I think that when you become aware of things, you will be able to guard yourself against, well, I don't even want to say guard. You will be able to start looking forward to the changes that are going to start happening, and you can put yourself in a better position. Because I had found myself with one of my businesses where it was right in front of my face, and I had never really thought about how technology itself and then AI technology was affecting that company. And I had to make changes, and we're still making changes with that particular business. But I have other businesses where when I utilize the same thing that was affecting the other business, it enhanced these businesses. And I'm going to show you, give you a like kind of a write down or a demonstration here, illustration of how I use it in in all of my businesses now, but how I was actually using it on one business at that time, and didn't even pay attention that it was same thing was being utilized by other businesses to disrupt my business or disrupt the industry that I was in with that business. And and then I'm gonna write it out here, but I do have a program called a 5-day challenge where I go into more details about this, because I'm not gonna kind of, I don't want to bog down this video with all of the different things that I utilize, but I'm gonna kind of, make this so you'll be able to absorb it. I'm gonna just kind of tell you so you can see. But I think the number overarching thing that you will find out in this video here is that it did replace people that I would not have to pay specific employees to do a certain job. And that's why I said I don't want anyone to get offended. This is just what's happening in our world. And this is something that I've been utilizing for years. Like, that's why I was saying, people think that AI is like new. It's only new to the introduction to people who are just wanting to use it to ask questions and do stuff. It has been around for business in a certain way, for business for a long time, but now they've added a front side to it that's going to disrupt the employees that were doing the front side of what other employees had gotten let go of, because the technology had already, kind of did away with their job. So let's look at this here. This is the business owner right here, always waking up every day trying to figure out ways to increase sales, bring in more revenue, lower expenses. Like, that's the cycle that we as business owners run. And so with the business that I'm illustrating this with, is that one of the things that I had always did with that business, once I had figured out how to get my online ads working, was, and the thing about it is that if I was able to use AI the way I'm able to utilize it now, it would actually it would have actually figured this part out for me a lot faster. But I had to do this part, and then I had to, test to see what would get leads. But let me tell you where the first job that was taken away utilizing AI, and I didn't even really think about it until I was thinking about doing this video, was that I send all of my leads through a follow-up process. And before I was doing that, I would have, and my wife used to say, you want to have all of these employees that are calling people back. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to just have all of these people? I had even had call centers calling people back, and I was like, because that's the way to be able to talk to people and get more people. And she was like, well, there's better ways to do it. So I would listen to her, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep what I'm doing because I know that that's working, but I'm gonna utilize other types of technology. And so I utilized a technology that would do the follow-up, and I kept my team the same, but I utilized a application to be able to do the follow-up. And one of the first things that I learned when I did that, it was like mind-boggling, was that follow-up system, now pay attention, that follow-up system, I'm not even gonna write it. The follow-up system didn't have an attitude, came to work on time. That means that whatever I programmed into it to do, it did it on time, by the second, on time. Again, didn't have an attitude, and it cost very little money for it. And it did it time and time and time again. So that was the first benefit of it. That was the first benefit. But here's the other benefit of it that I didn't even, like when I started paying attention to this, it was like a big aha moment, was that people would respond to that system, and they thought it was me responding. They thought it was me. They thought that it was me. Like, think about that. If you could program something so good that people actually think that they were talking to you, thousands of people thought that I was individually contacting them. Now you might say, well, that's old school, that's old news. That's, if you're aware of ways that you can utilize to follow up with people, but that was just the top of the line. What we're utilizing now is that people are actually having conversations, back and forth conversations, answering different people's questions, and it's AI. So we've taken it a step further to where now it was a basic follow-up, and they were already thinking that they were talking to, they were really thinking that they were talking to me. And now it's not just one response or two responses, it's a back and forth response. I'm telling you, this is incredible, and I've been utilizing it this way for more than a year, and I'm here to tell you that the scary part about this is that people do not know. That I include myself, we do not know what is a person and what isn't. Now, you may know by, you call your cell phone company, these, you know with those. You know with those. But when you get with business people, business people that are straight up like, hey, we need to do this because we want to be able to get with clients. We don't have millions of dollars to sit there and play games. People need to be like getting questions answered. That's a different conversation. So if my client asks a question and I'm giving them that answer, not one of those answers like, like I was going back and forth with the AI with my invoice company. And I'm like, you asking me a question that don't have nothing to do with what I'm asking you. Now, what if that AI, which is what I do with mine, I actually do my programming, knows their customer enough to where they know the responses and know how to come back more than just one response, 2 response, 3 response, 4 response, 5 response, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How many responses? You give somebody more than 5 responses, you're in a conversation with somebody. If it doesn't matter if it's AI, if it doesn't matter if it's a human being. That's what I'm saying. So think about this. The follow-up process was like 1-to-1. When I say 1-to-1, message, 1 response. When AI came in, it was like, you could just say like it's whatever I want it to be. It could be 10 to 10. That means that this individual talks to the AI 10 times, the AI gives it 10 responses, and the AI does what I program it to do. Next. So now let's get into the next part. When I just had my basic follow-up, which you already can see how it replaced it. I didn't get rid of anybody. But what I did do is I took my wife's advice and I said, okay, I'm not going to use the outbound services anymore. I'm going to focus more on what I can utilize with the follow-up at that time. And I say basic, back then that was innovative. Now people would say that that's basic. Like all of you know about this type of follow-up, but you don't know too much about the AI follow-up. You hear it, but you don't know how powerful it is. But just with using the basic follow-up and going with the page, one of the things that started happening is that I was making sales. I was making sales without anyone talking to anyone, any human talking to anyone, any human talking to anyone. Think about that. If I have a follow-up that I'm paying a service, a small fee, and people are giving me their money for the service without talking to someone, what did I just do? What did I say every business owner wakes up thinking about? How to make more money and how to lower the cost. How to make more money, how to lower the cost. So instantly when I learned that, and I'm going to get into how AI was utilized for this here. Every one of these steps, AI is utilized. What I did immediately when I saw that happen from that result of the sales is that I increased here. When I started this, I was spending $50 a day. I went to 100, 200. Depending on how many ads I run, it could be 100 per ad, 200 per ad, and this is per day. This is per day because I know that a certain amount of people were going to be in the basic pipeline. And of those numbers of people who are in the basic pipeline, we're going to become sales because it was already happening. Like it was just happening. But when I started utilizing AI, it even happened even more. And now that I'm utilizing where I'm extending those conversations to even more, we don't know, the sky could be the limit. And this could be applied to any company. But now, utilizing AI for the sales page. Well, number one, utilizing AI, let's just talk about here. Utilizing AI to even get someone to even consider to leave their information or to make a phone call. Think about that. If you have, okay, I'm interested in your service, tell me, I have this question. AI answers that question. Okay, I have another question. AI answers another question. Okay, I have another question. Okay, AI answers that question. And then AI gives an option for that individual. Remember what I said, I would say if you have 5 back and forths with an individual, that individual will think that they're talking to someone and they're going to make that action. They're going to start to react off of what the AI tells it to do. What we do is the AI tells them, hey, do you want to schedule an appointment? Or do you want to just go ahead and sign up? It actually says that. Here, you can sign up right here. And then they sign up and then we go and call them. Like, think about that. With here, the AI is that we would look at what would get the people's attention to want to become a lead. Think about that. The way that we do it right now is we just test. Like advertisers will test. That's what make a lot of people quit their business, because they don't want to test, or they're tired of testing. They can't come up with new ideas. Well, what if you had something giving you ideas, and those ideas actually worked for other companies that are similar to yours? Wouldn't that lower your expense for one of the individuals in your company? That's what I'm saying. This stuff is very powerful. This is what we did. We looked at what do people want to see to even consider before they even go into our follow-up system. Now, I'll admit at the beginning it was more of me, but what I started doing, and the same technology was used here, was imagine this. And the platforms also help you with this. The platforms, let me tell you how the platforms do this. The platforms knows if you run your ad enough time on any platform and you put the pixels in on any platform, it will start to send people that are most likely to look at your ad and most likely to become a lead. And then you got to take it from there. That's what kind of gets people upset. They're like, I got these clicks, I got these leads, but they didn't do nothing. That's because you don't have the stuff set up on the backside to do anything. But with AI technology, what I was able to do, what I was able to look at, I was looking at people on my site, and the AI technology will say, well, you know that they're staying on this page for 3 seconds. It's like nobody can want to buy something if they stay on my website page for 3 seconds. So what do you think that I did? Is I said, okay, let me study people going to the page. What are they seeing? And we started changing the page. And guess what happened? People were staying on the page for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I dare you to find, and you can go to my channel and you can look at videos. I've already made them. Videos showing that people would stay on my website for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's because they're looking at the information to determine if they're going to take their wallet out, take their credit card out of their wallet, and pay for something that they're seeing without any interaction with an individual. Think about that. If you have your business right now and you wanted to see how you could utilize AI, how you could utilize a follow-up system, all of these types of tools to enhance your business, it doesn't matter what type of business you have. These tools are available and out there, and you just need to learn how to use them. So I utilized that tool, and I started noticing first that people were not staying on the page that long. And then when I started making the changes to the page based off of what the technology was telling me, guess what it did? It flipped over. So I would have my sales reps, they're still making calls, but the computer, we call it, at my office, we call it the computer. The computer made a sale. That's what we call it. So like my sales reps, we have a little count thing with the sales reps, and we'll be like, okay, today you did this many, or this week that many, and one of them says this on the top. So these have people's names, workers' names, and then there's one that'll have, it has computer on there. And the computer was starting to beat the humans. The computer was making sales when we humans were home eating dinner, relaxing. Not to say that we shouldn't be, but I'm just saying that that's what was happening. So just imagine for your business, you don't do anything. Don't get rid of no one. Continue doing what you got to do for your business. And you just instituted something like this in there. This is the way I see it. This is my thinking. I know there's business owners that are more, they're cutthroat. This is my thinking, is that AI technology is just another tool. I don't want to say like a person, but I have said it's an employee that works for me 24/7. That's exactly like around my office. That's what I've said. I've said that this system that I have in place is like an employee that is working 24/7. That's just the way that I describe it. And what it has helped me do is that, yeah, I did not expand with workers as fast. I still expand with workers, but I understand that if this technology can take that place, that I just won't bring someone on. I'm not cutting people, but I won't bring anyone on. Now, I'll admit, with that thought process that all of us business owners have, some of the times you will get into the situation where you'll be like, is it costing me more to have that individual when I can have just bump up even more of what I'm doing with this year? I'll admit that does cross my mind a lot of times. But that goes into a whole other thing about individuals. If you're working for a company, you better make yourself as valuable and irreplaceable as possible, because you have two things working against you. You had the owners constantly looking at ways to make more sales and decrease expenses. And then you have technology being introduced every day that is looking to replace people, humans, all of us, with certain tasks that we have to do. Thank you for your time. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. Post your questions and comments. This will be an interesting, should be some interesting comments on here. If you are interested in learning how you can increase your business, I invite you to take advantage of my 5-day challenge. Link is below this video. If the link is not live yet, that means that we're making some changes, but it should be live by the time you see this video. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams.